Okay, what are you saying, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss on any streams or any uploads in the future. Make sure you go check out the Discord channel for Elevating Traders, completely free to join. It is linked at the top of the chat. You cannot miss it. Discount opportunities will be available there close to launch, so make sure you check it out so you don't miss out. And of course, join in discussions with other traders sharing trading opportunities. Good morning, Tony Gold. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. What is up, Tashi? Good morning. What is up, Brian? Good morning. I hope everyone is doing good this Friday morning. So we haven't seen too much movement since we last spoke yesterday. We did see a little bit of news in the afternoon, but that didn't really cause too much problems for dollar. Euro USD was back and forth. Pound USD likewise back and forth. We did see a bit more USD strength, which did take some USD CAD to the upside a little bit, although it didn't amount to much. Dollar CHF to the upside a little bit. Although I feel like CHF was quite weak as well. CHF pairs did push up pretty hard too. So with my bias and the ideas I have on my watch list, I'll quickly go through them, but nothing has really changed really. Yen pair is still a little bit for me. I'm kind of just waiting to see how we close this week, this month, and then I'll reanalyze and go again next week. Maybe I kind of sit tight on them for now. I like the dollar pairs. There's a lot of opportunities on euro, pound. I think even New Zealand dollar looks fairly interesting as well, which is a pair which I don't really like trading, but it looks really good. And then, yeah, Euro NZD, Pound NZD, Euro Aussie, Pound Aussie have some interesting opportunities as well. So I'll go through a bunch of them. Morning, Tom. What is up? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. Hope you're well as well. But yeah, for the dollar pairs, I'm still looking to take these higher. We've had a really nice run to the upside for Euro USD this month. And now I'm purely just looking for a pullback for the market to go higher. As you can see, we did see a bit of downside early yesterday with this big bearish candle. And then for the rest of the day, we didn't really go anywhere. But in my book, the market is kind of just phasing out, forming a low for a bigger push to the upside. A couple areas which I'm looking to buy from, this being one and this being another one there as well. And if you even have a bigger pullback, I'll even look for the retest of this high here, which does line up pretty well with some structure there on the daily chart. But essentially, we're looking for that higher low to take price to the upside. And hopefully we can see a push back to 1.125. So the idea with Euro USD is to look for that higher low. Pound USD is the same idea as well, except Euro's had a bit better of a pullback. You see Euro, we've actually seen some downside there on the daily chart, some downside there on the 4 hour. Pound has seen a bit of downside, but it just hasn't amounted to much. So I'm not too sure if I'll see my preferred setup with pound, but we'll wait and see. The idea is still the same. Looking for a pullback into this area and then hopefully a higher low to then take pound USD to the upside. So that is still the plan there with the dollar pairs. Why do you like NZD? No, I don't mind trading NZD. It's just that the price action for NZD USD in particular hasn't been great for the past couple of months. Again, my preferred kind of market conditions are trending, clear direction, clear high time frame direction. Those are the conditions, the trading environment which I perform the best in. With NZD USD, it's just been very, very up and down. So the direction hasn't been clear to me in the high time frames. Therefore, I haven't really liked trading it. But now it's starting to clear up a little bit, especially with the prior week's price action, really strong close. So I'm anticipating more momentum to follow through back to the high here. So what I'm trying to say is I've got a bit of clarity now with NZD USD. And the past couple of months, I haven't really had some. So I've been staying away. Same with Aussie dollar as well. But now I'm seeing a bit more clarity, and I can see a nice range to work with back to the high here, should we stay above 0.62. So I'm liking what I'm seeing now with NZD USD, and if it does pull back, similar to Euro, similar to Pound, I'm anticipating higher lows for them to push up higher. Yeah, I'm still very much weak bearish on the DXY. I think there's more downside to be had, but maybe we go for a bigger pullback and then sell off. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Maybe a retest of this area here and then get the bigger sell off. We'll have to wait and see. Seen some nice upside in the past couple of days. We'll see if that continues, but yeah, still very much bearish bias on USD, longer term anyway. What's up, Anis? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Nkeba, welcome to the stream. It's our last day. Hopefully everything goes well. Yeah, last day of the week. I will be streaming again next week. Don't you worry about that. But yeah, it's been I mean, I've been pretty busy, so it's been quite weak for me. But yeah, I've had a lot of focus with the yen pairs, and they just haven't really played ball really. I've been looking for some tops to form, but they've just been slowly chugging high, especially New Zealand yen. So it's been difficult to trade this one. The rest of the yen pairs have been kind of stagnant. I mean, this is the price action for pound yen over the past couple of weeks. It's just very stale. CAD yen, no different. This one's been moving sideways as well. You know, got some prior resistance on the left there, and price has just been bouncing back and forth. Maybe this is just a big fake out, and then price should just be holding onto the resistance and support of that range very, very well. So it's been difficult to find direction there. Of course, if you're looking to maybe just short high and buy low, not bad conditions to trade in, but definitely not trending. Euro yen, this one's had a bit of a move to the downside, but all in all, we're still kind of really failing to break through support there. So price action hasn't been particularly great here. Aussie yen, very sideways, hasn't broken out of structure yet. So there's your high, there's your low, price dancing in between. Dollar yen, this one actually had a bit of a trend, so I'll give dollar yen its flowers. It has seen some nice downside there, although right now it's kind of losing that momentum and possibly getting ready for a bigger move higher. But it has had some nice downside, and CHF JPY, another one that has been moving sideways. So it's been difficult to short the yen pairs this week. We've seen some minor reactions, but nothing that has sustained. You can see price just rejected the high, a little bit of downside, reject the high, a little bit of downside. Aussie yen likewise there. So if you're looking for a quick scalp, quick day trade, you might have had some luck there. But if you're looking for a swing, it's been difficult since we're really lacking a lot of momentum. So yeah, I'm kind of just staying put on the yen pairs, seeing how we develop. Like I said, I'll see how we close for the week, the month, this week, well, later today. And then I'll make my mind up. If it's not looking good, then of course I'll just focus on other pairs like the dollar, which look a lot clearer. And it's looking to buy NASDAQ and S&P 500 or oil today. Okay, we'll have a look. See, I'm very bullish longer term with the indices. So I'm expecting upside there. But again, that's a more kind of a longer term bias. In general, we'll probably will see some downside and a bit of back and forth price action before we do see that bigger swing that I'm looking for. But yeah, NASDAQ, I do think there's a good chance we do get back to the high here. Of course, not today, but I think that's where we're likely going to head up to. And longer term, the high over there. But we'll just speak about this high for now, since that one's very, very far away. I think S&P is very close to its high. Yeah, very close. Hasn't quite made it. So I would assume that S&P will just take out that high very, very soon. Again, probably not today, but I do think we can see some upside, and maybe early next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we go and take out the high. Pretty much what US 30 did not long ago. We had the high there. It was consolidating a little bit underneath, and our price has just smashed straight through. I think S&P will join that party. So yeah, I think in terms of direction, in terms of bias, I'm very much on board with that idea. I know you're on the lower time frames, so the price action you'll be looking at will be a little bit different, but from the higher time frames, I'm getting a bullish sentiment as well. So I'm expecting further upside. It's a little bit choppy these days. S&P a little bit back and forth. But I would expect us to break higher. I like NAS because it's had a really nice corrective pullback. It's come back to test this area here, and we saw a really big reaction there. Well, yesterday/Wednesday, really nice reaction there. So To me, it looks like price is gearing up for a reversal, kind of like a big V-shaped pattern, big sell-off, big big buyback, telling me that this down move didn't really mean much, and we completely reversed that with the next bullish move. So I do think price is now printing in a higher low to try and get ready for a big move back up. So I really like NAS. S&P is a little bit too choppy for me, but yeah, they're very similar. So probably both make this similar move to the upside. So yeah, indices I do like. Darker Sean morning. We'll take a look at Euro Pound, no problem. Tom, yen pair has been really ugly of late. Yeah. Close UJ with a break even. Screen for potential pullback. I agree. It does look like USD has that potential for a big pullback. We've come back into a big low. Prices rejected that low pretty well on the daily chart. So there is that possibility for a bigger move to the upside. How far? We could go really far potentially, or we could just see another couple of days before we sell off. But I do think USD strength is probably on the cards for the next couple of days. I mean, well, Friday and then Monday, Tuesday maybe, or something like that early next week. I do expect to see some upside for USD. So maybe it's not the best time to be selling USD/JPY. Looking at the correlation there between dollar and the DXY probably won't play out to the best possibility. Might be better off selling another yen pair, but then again, I'm not really seeing a lot of clean price action for other yen pairs anyway. So yeah, it's probably best just to sit back and wait for the ugliness to clear out. I think that's probably what I'll be doing next week with the yen pairs. I really do like some of the USD pairs, so my focus will be more oriented around them. Yen pairs, to me, quite a lot of them are very sideways, so I'll be staying put. But UJ, we did see a bit of downside. This is probably the better of the yen pairs the past week or so. It actually has trended down a little bit, and that's purely from USD being very weak, the weakest currency pretty much. So that's helped out USD/JPY for the past couple of weeks. But now, since USD is gaining strength, it's made it a bit awkward. Okay, so I'll go through Euro Pound. We'll take a look at Euro Swiss for MR Sana. Do you think there's a possibility of yen weakening next month? That is, yeah, I'll touch on that in a bit of detail actually. Let me go through Euro Pound, Euro Swiss, and then I'll touch on that. But I do think that's a real possibility. In terms of Euro Pound, so Euro Pound's been very bearish. I like how this one's closing on the monthly chart. I spoke on this briefly yesterday, but look at that for a month for August. Massive wick to the upside. Now prices pull back all the way, and it looks like it's going to close bearish. We've still got 11 hours left, but I doubt the next 11 hours are going to affect price to a degree where it doesn't close like that. So I do think with Euro Pound, a candle closure like that will probably take us back down to this area here, possibly next month or eventually. I would expect to see follow through to the downside for Euro Pound. So my bias would be very bearish. Looks like the market's just kind of had a retest of support here, turn resistance, and has used that to its advantage. So although at the moment Euro Pound is now approaching some support here on the daily chart, so it's probably not the best time to be looking to sell. But suppose we come back down, we have a bit of a bounce, put another lower high in, this could be the opportunity, which is a really nice swing for next month or however long it takes. But I really like this opportunity there for Euro Pound. Of course, at the moment, we've had such a big move down coming into support. If you're looking to buy, this is a pretty good time to buy. Solid support, markets overextended. We're likely to see a bit of a bounce to the upside anyway. But I do think once we do find that next lower high, we're probably going to have a big sell-off, maybe back into resistance here, and then we tumble over. So longer term bias, very bearish for Euro Pound, expecting a lot more downside back to 0.83283. But at the moment, we're approaching support where I do think we can have a bit of a bounce from. So maybe some short-term buys to look for some long-term sells, I think is the play. But yeah, I do expect further downside longer term. So if you do take some buys, you could definitely catch a nice move, but I'm not going to be expecting a reversal. It would just most likely be a pullback, which could be a big pullback, a big meaningful one. So the longs could definitely be worthwhile, but I do think we'll put a top in somewhere and just continue that path back down to 0.83. So that is my outlook for Euro Pound. In terms of Euro Swiss, so yeah, CHF has seen a bit of weakness. So Euro CHF has pushed up, CAD CHF, Pound CHF. They've all seen a bit of upside over the past day or so. I've been looking at Euro Swiss because it's been interesting. Looks like the market tried to form a lower high, and I'm looking to see if we can come back to the low again. Although it's been pretty awkward and we haven't been moving too cleanly. I'm looking at the 4 hour. I like this area here as a place for a short. But again, I'd watch out because if CHF is going to be weak, then we could see a really big move to the upside for Euro Swiss and its corresponding CHF pairs as well. So I do think this is a nice place for a short for Euro CHF, but be prepared just for a slight move before maybe price does move higher. I think, did not mean to do that. I think a move back down into the prior low be a phenomenal trade. And depending on your entry, you could still be looking at a 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, maybe even higher than that. Back down to that low, and then you can call it a day and maybe leave some positions to run should we get back down to that low. But looking at price action, look at the higher time frames. I don't think we will. I think we'll put a higher low somewhere and continue higher. But for now, shorts look good. We've seen some nice bearish momentum, bearish structure over the past few weeks. So still looking to kind of continue with that until it doesn't really. And then when we break structure, we can then discuss the buy setups if they do come along. But for now, this still looks like a nice short for me around 0.946. But like I said, I don't expect it to go too far before we do put a higher low in. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that's kind of my outlook for now for Euro Swiss. In terms of the yen, so I do think there's a good chance we can see the yen weakening. I do think we'll see the yen weakening. If I go take a look at the Japanese index real quick, I do think this one will continue a lot higher. So if the Japanese index is going to continue higher, then that means the yen will weaken, which will then mean that the yen pairs, so like pound yen, euro yen, CAD yen, will all push up if yen is of course weak. So I do feel like the Japanese index has a really good chance to push up higher. I spoke on this one briefly yesterday as well. Look at that monthly candle there for August. Humongous wick to the downside, and it actually potentially might close bullish. Yesterday, this candle was still a little bit bearish, but it's actually flipped since we last spoke. Still got 11 hours left, so it could definitely close bearish. But the main thing to take away is that we've left a huge wick to the downside, and I don't see next month's candle filling that wick to the downside. I think there's a great chance that we use that as price faking out numerous lows here, grabbing liquidity and using that to fund a move to the upside back to the high and maybe a higher high as well. So I would anticipate more upside next month for September for the Japanese index, which will mean that other yen pairs will probably push up higher as well. So that would probably mean a weak yen too. So I do think there's a good chance that we do push up higher. Big wick rejection down the weekly chart. We spoke about that when it happened. So I do think there's a good chance that we push back into the high here, which is where we had this massive double top. Let me just clear the chart real quick. So we had this double top over here, and that's where I do see the market getting to in the next few weeks or so. For September, and then we can go from there because we might sell off again because it's been a sturdy area of resistance. Maybe price does reject it again, but I do think there's a good chance we'll get there. So yeah, I do think yen will push. Yen pairs will push up. I do think we'll see yen weakness. So if we do make that move, that means CAD yen will probably push up higher. Probably see pound yen push up higher as well. New Zealand yen push high. Of course, it does depend on euro, does depend on pound, does depend on New Zealand dollar, how far the move happens and which pair moves the biggest and the least. So keep an eye out for that. But generally speaking, I do think the yen pairs will find a bit of upside next month. It's just which pair to trade it with. So yeah, I do like the upside potential. I wouldn't look to buy them yet because a lot of the yen pairs are still sideways or slightly bearish in dollar yen's case. I think New Zealand yen looks the most bullish, but even that doesn't look particularly great. Maybe a retest of that could be interesting if we come back down. But pound yen still sideways, CAD yen still sideways, euro yen sideways for the most part, Aussie yen still sideways. So I need a bit more from the yen pairs if I'm looking to buy them. Something like that would be great, and that would be a nice opportunity. But again, we'll probably speak more on that next week, probably, or yeah, sometime next week if you can get a breakout. So yeah, hopefully that made sense for the yen pairs. We'll go through pound USD. 4-hour head and shoulder pattern. Okay. At the moment, see a retest of 1.32. Okay, a bunch of sell opportunities there, targets. Okay, so we'll go through pound USD. Favor, what is up? We will take a look at pound CAD and dollar CHF for you, no problem. Ordinico, welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. All yen pairs flat at the moment. Yes, I do agree. Yen pairs are very flat at the moment. I feel like maybe as we're coming to a close for the month, we might not see much until September. So basically start of next week. But yeah, we are very, very flat right now. Not really moving much. But I do think there's a lot of opportunity because they're consolidating. And typically when we understand we see a consolidation, it's because price is getting ready for a big breakout at some point. Of course, when it happens, we don't know. It could be next week, could be the week after. But I do think we're getting a big breakout at some point, and probably going to see price do something like that. And if we do break out in the opposite direction, then of course I will look to change the bias and entertain some ideas for some downside. Because if you do break lower, especially with a lot of momentum, that will interest me in some shorts. That would definitely interest me in some shorts, something like that. So again, I do think like the yen pairs will break higher, but at the same time, we're traders here, we're not fortune tellers. So you want to be able to see the market from the other side and see the opportunity in the other direction if it does present itself. But for now, I do expect us to break higher. But if that changes, of course, I'll reanalyze and see what I can work with. But for now, I expect to break out higher. It's just when we'll see it. Okay, let me go through pound USD. So pound USD, I'm expecting more upside. I think I can see the head and shoulder you're talking about. The left shoulder over here. You got the head over there, and that's kind of your right shoulder. And this is kind of your neckline there. It's a bit congested in there, a little bit tightly knit, but I see the pattern. Like I said, I'm not really interested in shorting pound USD. We've already seen a bit of downside anyway, so I think entering some shorts now will be a little bit late to the party. Although, if I want to see the bigger pullback I'm looking for, which is a retest of this area, kind of need to see more downside anyway. So, yeah, I hope we can keep selling off, but at the same time, I'm not really interested in the shorts anyway. I'm still very much bearish on the USD long term. Like I said, I do think we'll see a bit of strength for USD, but I do think that strength will just be a pullback for the overall direction to continue. So yeah, I do want to see more downside for pound, but it doesn't necessarily have to happen. Of course, this is where I want to buy from, not necessarily where I'm predicting the market to get to before we push up. We could push bullish from here, from the market 1 to 2, or anywhere else. It's just here's where I got a lot of confidence and I've got a decent level to work with. But yeah, I can see the neckline and the head and shoulder pattern you're talking about. Retest 1.32, so you're looking for roughly around this area here. So again, like I said, it's I can see the idea behind the trade. It makes sense. It's just very, very corrective right now. So that kind of puts me off any sell opportunities. If the market was a bit more bearish and we're seeing some heavy price action, then great. But we're still very corrective. So that doesn't give me a lot of confidence for any shorts. And also, I would want to sell a little bit higher up as well, so I can get a safer stop loss closer to above that high there. But yeah, pound USD, I do like the longs. I do like the longs for pound, so I'm only going to be looking for the buys. You got your targets around 1.312, so that's roughly the low here. 308, so it's around there, and then okay, that's your stop loss. Stop loss 3208. 3208. So that's around here. So yeah, again, if you've got a plan behind it and if it's the plan, you've got your confidences, you ticked all your boxes, take the position. Take the position. No need to overthink it. But I'm going to be focused on the buy. So hopefully your trade does play out because I'll be looking to buy it later on. And I do think we'll see retracement anyway. So I do think we'll see the downside. But I'm just want to look to follow that momentum, follow that trend. Lovely push here. Looking for a pullback of that for some upside. If you're looking for the short, I can see the reasoning behind that. But I'm going to be focused on the longs. Likewise with Euro as well. Focus on the longs to take price higher. We'll go through pound CAD and dollar CHF next. Aussie New Zealand dollar we'll take a look as well. I'm seeing some upside coming in. Is that for the yen pairs? Is that for the yen pairs for the upside? Because yeah, I would agree as well. I do think upside is likely. In terms of pound CAD top-down analysis and dollar CHF, so pound CAD, this one has come into a pretty big level, around 1.78500. And yeah, it's been struggling to break through, and you would expect that because we've been so sturdy with this level. You can see multiple rejections minus this bit of a fake out there, but otherwise the market has found it very, very hard to break through the same level. And now we're struggling to break through again. So I do think we can see some downside. You can see August candle there closing as somewhat of a doji there. We'll see how it closes in 11 hours, but effectively we're failing to break through. So you could probably expect to see at least some downside in September. Not necessarily close bearish, but anticipating downside does make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, if we do see a breakout, then of course we'll reanalyze and go from there. And maybe we're going to push into the wick high over there. But at the moment, the market's still holding very well onto that resistance. I do think we can see some downside. I said on my weekly analysis that I think there's a good chance. Let me just clean up the chart. I think there's a good chance we could see price come into the high and then probably push back down into the low here. Probably seen about a third of that move so far. But yeah, if you're looking to short, then of course this is not a bad area to short from with your stop loss above the high there. That makes a lot of sense to me. We've seen some nice rejection previously, again there last week. You can probably anticipate some more this week should we see some necessary price action to indicate that. And I mean, I probably wouldn't look to swing it all that way in one move. I feel like if you do get a short there, look and take some partials or at least trail stop loss as we come into that low will make a lot of sense. I wouldn't be too aggressive just because trend is kind of to the upside there with pound CAD. And if we do break above it, then I think the buys will look good. But for now, we're just holding onto that level very well. So I would still be short bias for pound CAD coming into this level, looking for some downside. If you're looking to take a short, then I would want price back at that high. I wouldn't want to be getting involved anywhere in this area. Not much going on, not much significance in that area. So yeah, if you can push higher, that could be interesting. Okay, Holy One of Israel looking for pound CAD sells as well. 1.77785. Whereabouts is that? Okay, that's currently just above where price is trading at. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of where we're trading. I mean, I can see prices kind of respecting some support here, and we could use that to our advantage, put a lower high and continue. But I'd rather price be slightly higher up. I know you've got your confirmations that you're looking for, so do what you need to do. But yeah, I'd rather try and get some entries a little bit higher up, not just for risk reward, but because I like my stop loss to be above that high there, because that kind of gives me the best kind of situation of trying to catch a big swing and having a pretty safe stop loss. Because if it does take my stop loss, then price is probably going to break to the upside anyway. So at that point, I'll probably be changing my bias. So yeah, pound CAD, I would like price to push a little bit higher before shorting, but I would have a bearish bias because of where we're trading in the higher time frames, the weekly, the monthly. We're really struggling at this level. So I do think there's downside potential and maybe a push to 1.76 as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for pound CAD. In terms of dollar CHF, this one had a bit of a reaction off that low yesterday. Nice bullish candle there. Again, with dollar CHF, we're approaching some big levels of support on the daily, weekly, as we can see. Monthly is looking like it's going to close very bearish. I do think we can see some upside for next week for USD CHF. How far will it go? That's a different question. Previously, you can see we had a phenomenal move from this area, and who knows, we could see something of that nature again. But I wouldn't bet on it. And of course, I don't think anyone here is looking for such a big swing anyway. So that's probably not the move people are after. But in terms of finding a nice buy opportunity, this is the area for it. Long-term sellers who probably sold up here or up there, looking to take their profit as we approach this low. So naturally, you see some profit taking, some buyers stepping into the market. There's a good chance we can see at least a reaction. Even if the bigger move is still down, we can probably see a reaction of this area. So yeah, with dollar CHF, I would have naturally a bullish bias. I do think we'll see a bit more upside for the DXY as well, which should help USD CHF push higher. So yeah, I mean, I like the double bottom there as well. I mean, I would want a lot more evidence before I get into a buy position, but of course, we will have our confirmations. I'll be waiting for something like this at least before I do take any buys. I don't really like to take a reversal outright, but if I can see some structure developing, some higher highs, higher lows, that'll tell me, okay, we're shifting. And then I'll try and find a retest or a higher low somewhere to take advantage of. And I feel like this could be a nice area to target. Because the prior low before gave us that high, we smashed straight through. No real retest of that area, just above 0.86, around 0.8625. That looks like a sensible place, at least to take some partials anyway. But yeah, dollar CHF, I do feel like we can see a bounce because of where we're trading. Longer term, we have been quite sideways, and I wonder, is price slowly breaking to the downside, maybe potentially, but I don't want to try and forecast that yet because it could easily still bounce. And this is on the monthly chart as well. So yeah, I do feel like we can see probably a bounce there for USD CHF. In terms of Aussie New Zealand dollar, we'll take a look at that one. Okay, floating at the minute. A lot of monthly ends confidence, especially with them yenis. I like that term, yenis. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually leaning quite bullish now with the yen pairs. I do think we can see a bit of a push to the upside for September. Again, when I mean that, I don't necessarily mean that the monthly candle for September will close bullish, but I do think there's a good chance we'll see some upside for September, at least a wick, even if the market then pulls back down and just leaves a big wick for September to the upside. But I do think there is some tradable opportunities to the upside for the yen pairs. I'll go through the monthly candle closures of them in a moment. But looking at the Japanese index, that looks like it's got upside. And if that does push up, so will the yen pairs as well. So yeah, I think there's a good chance we do push up. Okay, so scraped Euro CAD 50, almost 150 pips. That, yeah, I suppose Euro CAD was just very, very bearish. Let me go through Aussie New Zealand dollar first. So yeah, with Aussie New Zealand dollar, this one's a bit interesting. I was talking about potentially some buys as we came into this area, and we did see a brief push, but the market then absolutely ripped through. And this to me looks like the market is maybe kind of stopping some people out of some positions a little bit early, and possibly still getting ready for that bigger move higher up. So I would still be looking for something like this for not dollar CHF, for Aussie New Zealand dollar. Now, I'm not really looking to trade this pair because from a trend perspective, there is nothing to work with really. So the weekly chart we're very, very sideways. So I'm refraining from trading Aussie New Zealand dollar until I see some clarity in the higher time frames. What I can say is that there is some brief bullish structure we can work with: push, pullback, but in no means am I necessarily expecting price to continue higher. All I can see really is that as we come closer to this area, this is now bullish territory, and there's a good chance we could bounce. But maybe the bigger move is still to the downside. That could well be the possibility. Like I said, higher time frames aren't clear, so I'm not going to try and derive a bias. Yeah, when it's just way too choppy for me. But as we came into the low, you can see the market's having a real go at trying to break through the low, but at the moment it's failing pretty hard. Big wick to the downside for yesterday, closed above that area, and today we're giving us a bit of a wick as well. But of course, we still do have 11 hours before that daily candle does close. So I do think there's upside in the cards. If you want to wait for some more confirmation, I would say if the lower time frames can break higher, there might be some opportunities on some retest, because it does look like we're starting to shift and put some higher lows in, and that could end up being a nice trade on the lower time frames, essentially breaking out of that channel and then looking for the buys on the retest, or the retest of the channel, or retest of resistance somewhere. But the idea is that, okay, the market is holding onto this low, a bit of a fake out, and now we're likely to push up higher. Like I said, I don't know how far we're going. I wouldn't be so confident that we're going to see a huge swing like we did here. It could happen. You might want to leave some positions to run if that's the case. But yeah, I could very much see us putting a lower high in and continue down as well. Market conditions aren't great at all. So that's kind of the best I've got with Aussie New Zealand dollar, given the conditions and given how choppy it is. But we're trading at a nice low. So either the market's going to break through or respect it. So far, looks like it's respecting. So if it can keep that up, I do feel like there's a nice bounce to be had for AUD NZD. Okay, so we'll take a look at the monthly candles for the yen pairs. We'll go through EuroCAD as well. But yeah, for the monthly candles, we're just leaving behind some big wicks, really. You can see CHF JPY wick to the downside there. Dollar yen, not much, I must say. It's a bit of a wick, but there's still a bit of momentum there on the candle closure. Aussie yen, big wick to the downside. Euro yen, big wick, but small body, but not much. New Zealand yen, big wick. That's actually going to close pretty bullish. Pound yen, big wick. Closing slightly bearish there, and CAD yen, same thing as well. So what I can see is that we had such a big drop from July, but all of that momentum has kind of amounted to nothing. So CAD yen, humongous bearish engulf candle. We did see some downside. Didn't really amount to much. Pound yen, likewise there as well. New Zealand yen, likewise there as well. And I'm just wondering to myself, is price just continuing its bullish path? Is this just another big fake out, stopping out a lot of positions underneath the wicks here? And now we're going to use that to our advantage to push on back to the high. I think that's a good possibility to entertain. So That's why I do think September will push up. How far and for how long, that's a different question. It might just be a wick and then price closes bearish next month. That could be the case. Again, it's very difficult to predict the closure of the next candle, but you can probably predict to see a movement in a direction. So for example, we saw a really strong bearish engulfing candle last month. Okay, there's a good chance that the next month we'll see a bit of downside. Not necessarily close bearish, because you can see in this case we're about to close bullish, but there was some follow through to the downside with that wick. And because this is the monthly candle, you don't even need it to close bearish, because we can still take advantage of that downside wick there. Definitely if you're day trading as well, you're not looking to hold on to positions for too long anyway, and even with a swing. So going into next month, I do feel like we'll see some upside. Again, whether it will close or be a really big wick, that's up in the air. But I do expect to see some upside there for New Zealand yen. It might be price wants to have a big push up, put a lower high in somewhere, and then a big move down. That could be the case. Of course, as we get more information, more price action, I probably will be able to give a more concrete bias. But yeah, for CAD yen as well, came into this low, rejected it very well. Kind of expect us to break higher. There's even some areas up here which we could come and retest. Maybe a nice little break of that. Could be a nice trade. Previously had a bit of a fake out on the left. Unsuccessful retest, but maybe this time you get the successful retest. Push back to the high, and that could be a nice trade there. That's probably at least a couple hundred pips. Yep, a couple hundred pips from the dot. So I do like the MPES to the upside. And the monthly candles, not giving us a lot of information, but at least showing us that there's a lot of wick rejection to the downside. So it's not like we're seeing a strong candle closure this month, because then I'll anticipate even more downside next month, but we're not seeing that. And especially looking at the Japanese index as well, that is just leaving a huge wick to the downside in the monthly chart. This is August. This is August price action. Huge wick to the downside. That to me spells more upside next month. And if this does push up, then so will the yen pairs. We'll go through Euro CAD, because that has been pretty bearish. Euro's been pretty weak. I'm going to analyze the monthly candles over the weekend. I have 20 days left here. Back in the UK, sat 21st September. Wow, you've gone for a long while. How long is the holiday altogether? Because it feels like you've already been there for at least a week or two. But yeah, analyzing the monthly candles, analyzing the weekly candles can give a lot of information to the next week, the next month. Of course, they're not the be all or end all. It's not like, okay, I've analyzed the weekly candles, so I know exactly what the next week is going to do. It just adds another layer to your analysis. It adds another layer of confidence to your analysis. If you've looked at a pen, it looks good, like there's a good possible move to the upside, and also you're seeing that from a candlestick point of view as well. It looks like there is a possibility for more upside as well. Then that's just going to add more confidence to your trade. You're going to be more confident with that position, and it's just a win-win. Likewise, if you see a big red flag that the market is likely not to push higher, then that could maybe keep you out of a losing positions. Otherwise, you would have taken anyway. So the candlestick closures can give a lot of information, and sometimes they're very, very ambiguous and hard to tell what's going on. Then you just kind of leave it and move on. So yeah, but I will definitely be looking at a lot of the monthly candles to see how they develop. Okay, 6 weeks. That's a pretty long holiday. Yeah, I think holidays for me is normally between 2 and 4, which is pretty juicy as well. Okay, so I'll go through my watch list going into the next month, next week really. Still very much to the upside on the pound USD and Euro USD. USD CAD still very much looking for some shorts. Again, very nice candle closures here, particularly in the monthly chart. You can see a lovely bearish engulfing candle. So this is a good situation of where you're probably going to see a lot more downside. Hey, what is up, More? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Busy day today, no problem, my man. Hope you are doing good. Hope everything's going well with the store. Because I know that can be a lot to deal with, but I hope it's all going smoothly, as smoothly it could possibly be. But yeah, with dollar CAD, really nice candle closure there on the monthly chart. Really nice candle closure. So I think there's going to be a really high chance that we do see September, again, that we do see some downside. Again, not necessarily close bearish, but there probably will be a wick to the downside. Pretty meaningful one as well. Next month, it may even take us all the way back down to the low here, because this is the range we've got for dollar CAD. There's our equal highs. These are equal lows. Yeah, I'm expecting a push back down to support. So that's the idea for USD CAD. And we probably will see that happen next month to a degree. So if you're looking to get involved with dollar CAD next month, especially from a swing perspective, because of course, if you're day trading, doesn't really matter too much, because there'll be bullish days next month, of course. So you're looking for buying opportunities, selling opportunities. But if you're looking to swing, there's a lot more potential, a lot more room to the downside than there is going higher. So if we do see a meaningful pullback with dollar CAD, a meaningful move to the upside, get ready for your shorts, because we're likely to continue falling. So yeah, I really do like dollar CAD. And then yeah, looking at Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar as well, really strong candle closures on the monthly chart, particularly for Aussie dollar. Look at this candle here, really strong. We are approaching some resistance here, so I do expect to see a bit of rejection, maybe a bit of downside, but I do think eventually we're probably going to break higher, back to 0.71. The thing is, though, that we could take our time. September could close as a doji. We could see a bit downside in October. Then maybe November we'll get the breakout. So that can take a lot of time. So the thing about the monthly chart is you might be able to forecast a nice move, but it might take a few candlesticks to get going. And I don't think many people will be waiting around a few candlesticks on the monthly chart for a move. So all I can understand that there is a lot of upside potential, but the real thing I'm looking at is, okay, if we are going to see that move, let's break resistance. If we start struggling, then yeah, we're probably going to see a big move down, and there could be numerous opportunities before that big swing does develop. No time to eat lunch. Wow. Okay, only trading early in the morning, 5, 6 a.m. That's almost all the time going back. Okay. I mean, it's a sacrifice you have to make for it, I guess. You're gonna have to bend some rules, bend some normalities in your life to free up some space. But hopefully it's not for too long. Whilst everything is getting set up, you start and everything. Then once you get a bit of the ball rolling, then hopefully you have some time, free time again. But hopefully it all goes well. Okay, a good manager. Yeah, when I have one, I'll be at home. Yeah, of course. Once you get someone to at least run, or at least help run, then you can have a bit more free time. But yeah, that's how it is normally in the beginning. You're gonna have your hands tied. And your end's been so bearish. Yeah, looks like I missed this one completely. But yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. You're not going to catch every trade opportunity. Was looking for the retest of this zone here, but it just completely sold off. So going to have to chalk that to the game. But I am looking at its counterpart, pound NZD, which is actually looking a little bit bullish this morning. So keeping my eyes peeled on this low and this low here for some shorts, just to continue those lower highs. And I'm expecting a similar move like UNZD. Didn't order food for a long time now, non-stop. Okay, not junk food, only healthy food. Yeah, I guess not having enough time to make lunch and cook for yourself. So yeah, I mean, again, like I said, you're going to make some changes to your regular timetable, to your regular lifestyle to compensate for it. But yeah, hopefully it will be worth it soon. Soon come. Hopefully it will be worth it. At least you're not ordering junk food though, because yeah, I mean, it probably won't make you feel great once you've eaten it, and you've still got a lot of things to do. At least you're ordering somewhere healthy. Is anyone in any positions at the moment? I know a few people said they were looking to trade gold yesterday. Miss her egg parties. I think Sculpey's on holiday as well. Sculpey's on vacation. I'm not sure where to, but he's on vacation. So wherever he is, he's probably having some nice eggs on the beach somewhere. Lucky him. But yeah, he's had his eggs, definitely. He's probably on to his fourth meal by now or something. Yeah, hopefully you still have time to make your eggs in the morning though, because I know that's essential for you. No, not eggs in the morning, eggs for lunch. I did have my eggs as well for breakfast. Okay. Yeah, but it hasn't been a lot of movement this week, to be honest. Did I just delete Euro Aussie? Yes, I did. Hasn't been a lot of movement this week compared to the previous couple of weeks. But then again, you would expect that as well, as the market kind of contracts after it expands. It's not going to be having a party every week. Philip, okay, long CAD yen intraday. So yeah, I'm expecting the yen pairs to push higher as well. CAD yen, I'm kind of waiting for a breakout on that one. It's been a difficult few days for CAD yen because it's been very back and forth. But I think something like that is brewing up, and we could be seeing a breakout soon. Whether we break out today or not, again, that's up to the market there to tell us if it's going to break out or not. But I do like the room to the upside. It's just, of course, right now we're trading right back into the resistance here. So it's make or break with CAD yen. Do you have a particular target which you're looking to trade? Take that trade into. I know you said it intraday, so I'm not expecting anything crazy. Maybe it's just back to the swing high over here, which would make sense. But yeah, we are coming back into that resistance. So I don't know if that's your target or you're aiming above that. But there is a pretty big level, that 107,800, where the market keeps finding resistance. I would watch out, especially intraday, because you're not looking for such a big move, so you won't have such a big stop loss to give room for the trade to play out. So I would watch out from that for that level, at least, partials or trail stop loss at any type of management that you would normally do would make sense at that area. But I do like CAD into the upside from a swing perspective as well. I think there's a lot of room. 107.99, 107.99. Okay, that's pretty much at that high then. Okay, so yeah, I think that looks good. Again, we might kind of dance around here, but I would expect us to hit that high, and then we'll go from there because we could very much, come straight back down again as the market rejects that same level. So I would watch out for that for CAD yen. But intraday momentum starting to build to the upside of these higher lows. We're just coming back into resistance. Your target's there, so yeah, I like that. But this is the opportunity I'll be waiting for next week. You ordered eggs from a coffee place. They had my lunch for the last month. Same as home, just mine more delish. Yeah, I mean, nothing beats homemade. Nothing beats homemade. You spend a bit more time making the meal. Add a bit of love in it as well. Maybe you should speak to the chef in the coffee place. Give some tips. Because clearly you're the better chef, which is which is not a good look for the guy who works for the coffee place. Is it your eggs and what was it again? Was it eggs and avocado or was that scalping? Yeah, for me, I'm pretty boring. Just eggs and bread, and I'm good to go. Eggs and bread, and I'm good to go. Dollar hasn't done much today. What news do we have today? Because I'm pretty sure I saw some news on Friday. Let me just double check. Make sure I'm not seeing things. Yeah, we do have some news today. Okay, so we've got CAD GDP at 130, expected to go up a little bit. And then we've got core PC for USD at 130. Interesting. And then consumer sentiment at 3 o'clock. And that's all UK time. So yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, the CAD news probably will affect CAD a bit, but I'm not expecting anything crazy from the USD news. But we'll see. I'm not in any trades in the moment, so yeah, there's nothing to worry about for my sake. But if you are in any positions, particularly CAD, so Philip, probably want to keep an eye on that GDP for CAD that comes out in about 2.5 hours from now, because that probably will affect your CAD trade a little bit. And yeah, besides from that, we do have the PC at 130 as well. So maybe keep a lookout for those events. But nothing crazy. We've got NFP next Friday, so that will be the one I definitely do keep an eye out for. How is next week looking? Monday, not much. Tuesday, PMI, not much there. Wednesday, not much. Thursday, not much. And then Friday NFP. So yeah, not much really next week either, apart from NFP and Friday. Okay, avocado and salad, that's it. Yeah, I've never really had a good salad with avocado. Maybe I've had it a long time ago, but sounds delicious to be fair. So I'm a big fan of avocado. Anything with avocado, I'm all over that. Pound USD Raheel, no problem. We'll take a look. Philip Long on Pound USD, enter 2.1013. Target 2.1118. Okay, I'm pretty bearish on Pound USD, so I might be looking to hopefully your move can play out, and then I'll probably set it later on. But we'll take a look. Let me go through Pound USD first. So yeah, Pound USD, the analysis for me is pretty straightforward. Looking for some upside. I understand that there'll probably be a few people looking to short Pound USD in the meantime, which makes sense because we've had such a big move up higher. Now you're kind of expecting the market to retrace. So yeah, I can fully understand that. But I'm very much looking to flow with the direction of the market, which is still very much to the upside for me. Push, pullback, push, pullback, push, pullback, push. Looking for the next pullback for the next push to the upside. So very self-explanatory stuff here, nothing crazy. But yeah, I just need to wait for that pullback to happen. Right now, we're kind of very corrective here, so it tells me that we're probably going through somewhat of a pullback now. I wonder if it's just going to be a shallow one and we push up. That could be a possibility, but I'm looking for a bigger pullback, hopefully, and the retest of 1.305. That's where my interest lies. Hopefully, we can see a push back into that area. And then I'll look for my entries back into 1.33, or at least back into the high there. Probably not necessarily 1.33, but hopefully you can get moved back into the high. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for £4. Nothing crazy. Let me know what you're looking for. Lauda, what is up? Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Okay, no problem. Well, have a good one, my man. No worries, my man. Take care. Have a good one. Okay, so I'll quickly go through pound NZD. So yeah, pound NZD, I'm looking for some sells. You said you're currently in a buy. So I'm looking to sell it around 1.118 to 1.114. Excuse me. Which is, I believe, your targets really, Philip. So you're looking to buy it to where I'm looking to sell it from. So what a nice little relationship there. But yeah, I mean, I do want to see a retracement. We've had a really nice sell-off. We've broken through some kilos there. So naturally, you would expect to see a bounce. I'm not so bullish on it, so I'm not really going to be looking to entertain any buys at all. I can see that the market has given some higher highs and higher lows there. But looking at this in a higher time frame perspective, we've come up to a really big height here, and I do think the bigger move is likely lower. So from a swing perspective, I'm just going to be looking to take advantage of shorts as I see them coming. And since you had a really nice break of the low, I'm looking for us to keep selling off. There is a big daily target here, which I don't know if we're bouncing on. Let me just highlight it now. So the high here, we tested the high there a couple times over there. I think we might be bouncing on that or very close to it anyway. So yeah, very close to it anyway. So I would want to see some upside, and then I'm expecting price to come into that area and break through actually. Got some areas over there. Some areas over there we can look at too. So yeah, I do think pound NZD still got more room to the downside. Hopefully we can see your trade play out, because I'll be looking to sell it later on. And then hopefully catch some shorts later. Yeah, probably later next week, probably not this week. So yeah, pound NZD, I don't mind the longs there, but yeah, I have a lot of confluence pointing to the downside, so I'm only going to be looking to short pound NZD. I think we'll probably see a similar move to what UNZD did. Such a big sell-off there. I think we'll probably see pound NZD do something similar, but first I do want to see a bit of a pullback. And then yeah, I'll look for my shorts. Pretty much at your targets there. You can see you've been missed more. You've been missed. Ben, what's up? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. You need to get that battery changed in your fire alarm. Yes, I do. It's only just started going off. Yeah, I mean, I'm at a point where I kind of block it out mentally, so I don't actually hear it really. But I was wondering when someone on the stream will probably mention that. But yeah, we've got the weekend coming up, so I'll find some time to get the fire alarm changed. Hopefully that's not too annoying though. So yeah, pound NZD is going to be it's still on my watch list to be honest. After we got the breakout, I added it to my watch list, so I'm still going to be keeping a close eye on that one. Euro NZD's left me in the dust, although I'm still looking for a pullback. But yeah, probably living in fantasy land a little bit. Don't think we'll see a pullback that big to get there. Euro Aussie looks pretty good as well. Should we see a retest of that area? That looks like a nice little short to me. Again, not too sure we'll see such a big pullback. If it happens, great. If not, I'll keep an eye on pound Aussie, which is kind of moving in this consolidation. That can break to the downside, great. And then again, looking to try and catch a short there. That is what I'm after. Lauder would like to see a pullback in pound NZD and sell. Yes, I'm on the same boat as you there. I think pound NZD looks really good to the downside. A lot of I've got a lot of boxes ticked with this one. It's just now finding an entry and finding finding a trade setup. And I'm looking at the retest of this low or the retest of this low. Depends on how big the pullback is. Depends how corrective it is and how everything looks. But generally, from that area from 2.11 to 2.114 will be the areas I'm looking to sell from. We've been very consistent with all these lower highs. And all I'm going to be looking for is to find that next one and see if I can partake in the move. Yours going off for a week as well, so it never settled too well. Yeah, I think mine's been going off for a few days now, maybe 3 days. But yeah, for next week we'll get it sorted. So yeah, no one has to hear the fire alarm sound anymore. What's my thoughts on dollar? Okay, what's no problem. Hello Israel, have a good one, my man. We'll see you next week. Thoughts on dollar. So yeah, I do think we can have a bit of a bounce for USD. We've come back into a really nice low, which we spoke about previously in the week, and we've had a bit of reaction. Now, I do think longer term we're still heading off back to the low here, as I've mentioned. I do think that's still very much the play, but I do feel like we'll probably see a bit more upside as we retrace. How far? That's the question in my eyes, because I do think this is going to be the move. It's just, where do we sell off? Is the market just going to have a slight retracement and sell off? Is it going to come back into this area and sell off? Or are we going to see a really big move to the upside like this for maybe 2 or 3 weeks before a big move down? That's the question. But for me, I'm still very bearish on the dollar. I'm going to see how we close for the monthly chart, because that will be very interesting for me, because as you can see on the monthly chart where my crosshair is, this is a really big area of support, and each prior month to this has just printed a lot of wicks into this area. So if we do print another wick, which looks like we're doing, then we probably will see September start off bullish, and then maybe see it then eventually follow through and push down. Because I do think this wick will be taken out, but we might push up first for the next month, so for September, and then we do see price eventually push to the downside, take out this low, and then continue. So we'll see how it closes. We've got about 12 hours left for this DXY candle to close. We do have some news in the afternoon, PC at 1:30, but I don't think that will cause too much problem. But we'll see how the market digests that news, and then depending on how we close. If we close down here, then I think September will just open up bearish, and we'll probably just continue back to that low anyway. If we do pull back up a little bit, I think September will push up first and then continue down. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. So pairs like Euro, pairs like Pound, just looking at pullbacks really to buy them up later. Short pound USD, so hopefully the dollar bulls can set up. Yeah, I do think we'll see some upside for pound, upside for pound, downside for pound, downside for euro, upside for the DXY. But purely expecting that to be retracement for the market to continue bullish for pound USD. So I'm only still looking to buy pounds, but I want it to at least pull back to the 1.305 area, which is this high here, 1.305. So at least want it to get to that area before I do entertain any buys. And I'm not too sure where your targets are and how far you're looking to take the trade, but hopefully we can see a move down for your sake and for mine. And then I can start looking to take some buys later on. Euro, I'm looking at something similar, but Euro actually not too far away from that first high. So yeah, this one could be interesting next week at some point. I'm glad August is over. It's been a horrible month for you. It happens. It happens, Lauda. Not every month will be a great month. Not every month will be a great month. You got 12 months of the year. Even if 6 of them are good and the other 6 are not so good, as long as the 6 are pretty good and you've managed your risk on the not so good ones, you still walk away with a profit and it could still be a very meaningful one. Of course, you want to have as many good months as possible and keep the bad months to a minimum. But it's always guaranteed that at least 2 or 3 months won't be great, and maybe 1 month wasn't really great at all. So yeah, it does happen. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. But yeah, I mean that's the way forward though. Once the month is done, pat yourself on the back, dust your hands off, and you go again for September. You always want to review as well that previous month, especially if it's not a good one. See, did you make any mistakes? Did you maybe get into trades too early? Did you get into trades too late? Did you miss some really good trades? Why did you? Were you just not at the charts, or were you looking at something else? Was there any emotional mistakes? Any mismanagement from your part that maybe resulted into the reason why the month wasn't great? And if there was any reasons, if there was any faults from your end, you learn from that and take that into the next month. But yeah, September will have plenty more opportunities, plenty new trade ideas, setups to take advantage of, and pips to gain. So go again September. Stay positive, stay confident. And I think that's the most important thing. But you don't wanna let the troubles of August bleed over into the next month. Yeah, monthly candle closure. We got the weekly candle closure and the monthly candle closure today. Of course, you always will get the weekly on the Friday, but we've got the weekly and the monthly closure on the same time. Sometimes the monthly candle closure will close midweek, like I think for July and the open of August, we close like on Wednesday or something like that. But this month we're closing on the Friday and again the weekly as well. So it's quite a nice coincidence. But yeah, as the monthly candle will close today at the end of the trading day, I think this weekend will be a really nice weekend for a lot of people just to see how the weekly candle closes, how the monthly candle closes, and then set up a bias for September. And again, I know a lot of you are day traders. You're not necessarily looking to hold a trade for the whole month. Of course not. But if you can understand that, okay, for September, there's a good chance that, I'm going to pick a random pair now. There's a good chance that USD CAD will move down. Then you know that, okay, if I'm got a setup some point in September, it's a sell setup, I know that, okay, maybe I can be a bit more aggressive for my targets with this trade because I understand there's a good chance that we're going to see a bearish month for September. Or if I'm buying USD CAD, I know that, okay, the bigger move is probably to the downside this month. So I probably want to be in and out of this trade a little bit quicker and not try and overstay on my welcome. And minor things like that can play a big role in terms of your profits at the end of the next month. And all it was is just that you use the bias from the higher time frames to your advantage. And that's even if you're a day trader as well, because some lower time frame traders will kind of ignore the higher time frames because they feel like there's no point. And I understand that, but in terms of a bias, in terms of trend, it can be very, very beneficial. You don't have to be a swing trader to look at the high time frames. Retest 1.3 would be lovely, but we'll see how it develops. Might be a bit optimistic. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go against momentum when you're looking to short against such a big move, you always have to be a bit cautious. There is room to the downside for pound USD to retrace, but there's always a question how far, and there's always that kind of fear that potentially that momentum is going to kick back in at any point really and take you higher. But of course, if you're going to take a trade that's a bit more counter trend, a bit not reversal, but counter trend, you're always going to be up against that. I take trades that are counter trend as well, not all the time, but I do take trades counter trend as well. And yeah, I'm just going to be a bit more aggressive with my management and understand that this trade might not go as far, and have to be, have to manage that trade accordingly, whether that means taking partials or being a bit more aggressive for my trailed stop loss. I'll make changes to that. But yeah, 1.3, 1.305 would be a great move, and that's kind of where I'm looking to buy from. So for your sake and mine, I'm hoping that does happen. But as I always say, we shall see. NFP next week, yeah, will be massive after that print. It'll be interesting NFP next month, not next week. Yeah, strong though also the dollar up. So yeah, maybe we do see price kind of be a bit flat for most of next week, and then maybe NFP is going to be the catalyst to get price going. I'm not too sure how it will go, but with NFP, of course, I'll be looking to take any opportunities I find. If they do if they do present themselves to me before NFP, then cool. Effectively, I want to be in a trade before NFP actually, because I always like being in a trade before the big news announcement. If I can get in a day before, the day before that, that would be great. I don't like getting into trades on the day of NFP unless it's after. I don't mind that, to be honest, but I just want to get into on the day, but before the news. That's always a bit awkward. But yeah, if I can get into a trade before, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I need a big retracement, so that's probably not going to happen. Dollar CHF buys look interesting as well, but not quite there for me just yet. EuroCAD will go up. I forgot to take a look at EuroCAD. I was supposed to look at it earlier. Has rested the horizontal support 1.490. Okay, I'll go through EuroCAD. So you're looking to buy it? Miko, we shall see. Man, I should get that on a t-shirt somewhere. Get that as a slogan on a t-shirt. We shall see. Melvin, pound CAD shorts looks nice. Okay, we'll touch a pound CAD as well. Let me know your targets for that pound CAD short. How long you how far are you looking to short that? Swing trade, day trade. Let me know. Yeah, that's the best place to be in, Ben. When you're in a trade and you're in some profit, especially profit that's locked in. Maybe you got your stops to break even. And then, of course, if it goes your way, great. If it doesn't go your way, worst case scenario, um, depends how aggressive NFP is, and depends if you get slipped or not. But effectively, worst case scenario is you get stopped out, break even, maybe a bit slipped as well. But hopefully, you've taken some partials, maybe so it counteracts that. But yeah, if you're already in a trade and you're floating and you've got some big news coming out, for me, I'm very much safe. I'm not stressing at all. If it goes against me, I walk away for break even, which isn't great, but it's not a loss. So I'm not really bothered about that. And if it moves in my direction, fantastic. It means it speeds up the process and gets to my targets quicker. So that's happy days. But I don't want to get in just before the news, because that's when you're a little bit more anxious. Spreads will widen. You can get wicked out as well, and it just becomes a bit awkward. Anyway, so we'll go through Euro Canadian. You're looking to buy that one. So yeah, Euro CAD. Okay, we're coming to an interesting low. I do think the bigger move for Euro CAD here is to the downside. So although we've had a really nice sell-off, we come back into a nice prior level resistance, this return support. I do feel like we can see a bit of a push to the upside, but I do think it will be short-lived for a big move down. Reason I say that is because of price action on the higher time frames, particularly the weekly chart. You can see where we're trading. We've come back into the high here. This is more or less a range here for EuroCAD on the weekly chart. We've been back and forth, back and forth. 1.51, we've been really struggling to break through this area. And now we've just about pinched it, but you can see price is still rejecting that area very well. So I do think for EuroCAD that we will see a bigger move to the downside and eventually we'll come back. I think maybe it's a bit optimistic to say this low, but I do feel like there's a good chance we'll come back to these areas here, which is kind of like the midpoint of the range, and then we discuss from then on. But I would expect more downside for EuroCAD, meaning because this for me would be a stronger area, a more significant level in the market than this area. This could definitely push us up, but I would expect us to see follow through to the downside. So I do like the buys for EuroCAD, but I'm not expecting us to push back to the high end and beyond. We could do, but I'm expecting this for now. Of course, if things happen, I'll look to reanalyze, but for now, that's what I'm expecting for EuroCAD. So if you're looking to buy, I feel like this is a nice place for it. Price is taking out some lows here on the left. And we're coming back into some nice support there where we had a really nice reaction there as well. So to me, it makes a lot of sense to be looking to buy here. And I feel like you can get a nice trade, but I would be expecting this to happen in the near future. So it just really depends how you manage the trade and where your targets are really. 49708. 49708. Okay, I like that. It's nothing crazy. I think you're just looking to target this low here. Yeah, that looks pretty realistic to me. Retest the low here, buy back to that area. I think that's really realistic. We're likely to get reaction and a retest of that area. I think we're likely to hit as well. I was just wondering if your targets were, back at this high or back at that high there, which would be a little bit optimistic. But then again, you could always manage your trade accordingly, take partials, trade a stop loss. So even if you do roll over, still walk away with some profit at the end of the day. But a pushback to this area is very realistic, very reasonable. And I would expect to see something like that anyway. So yeah, I can get bored with that EuroCAD buy idea. Like I said, I'm bearish longer term, but I think short-term buy makes a lot of sense, especially to where you're targeting. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with EuroCAD. We'll go over pound CAD. Thoughts on S&P and NAS. Okay, we'll go over that as well. Shorts to 1.72788. Okay, we'll go discuss that, Melvin. I have briefly gone through the indices, but I'll go over quickly. I don't think I've gone through US 30 either yet. If you guys are enjoying the content, by the way, on the stream, please be sure to smash the like button. It really does help out. And of course, make sure you do subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so already. It does help out the channel. And of course, you can see more of the content. And if you really want to see more of the content, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the near future, because of course you will be notified. And make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel. Link to that at the top of the chat. Can't miss it. There will be discount opportunities there pre-launch. So make sure you check it out if you haven't done so already. And you can join in discussions with other traders about different trading opportunities, including myself there as well. But in terms of pound CAD, so this one I do favor downside as well. But I said early in the stream, I would prefer price to push back to the high before I would short, just because I would want my stop loss to be above the high here, which is bit more of a safer place, a little bit less exposed than above here. Again, I understand that you're looking for more of an intraday move, and that makes a lot of sense. I think you're looking to short from around here. Current price, your target's 1.72788. 72788. So that's around about, well, no, it's not. 72788. I thought your target was that low there. 72, that is 72788. That's around here. I don't know if that is a typo or not, Melvin, because that is a pretty big swing there for pound CAD. I mean, it's doable because of where we're trading the monthly chart. You can see the monthlies had such a hard time breaking through the resistance here. So I think a move like that is doable if the market is going to reject this area again. And this is kind of the only fake out we had. After that, the market's rejected that level very, very well. So if we do that again, then there's a good chance we do get back to 0.72. But yeah, it's a pretty big move there. So I would definitely suggest looking to manage that trade, trailer stop, at least something, because there's many areas where price can find support and definitely reverse against you. So I would keep an eye out for that. But in terms of downside, I do think that's likely there with pound CAD. You can see we're really fading at the high there. We're not looking too good. I said earlier, if you're looking to short, I would want price to be at the high there so I can get stop loss above the high in a nice place, because if the market does take my stop, it's either a big fake out or I'm just in the wrong direction anyway. So at that point, I'll just reanalyze and probably change my bias. But this is where I would like to take some shorts from, and the risk reward looks really good back into 1.76 there too, or at least this low here anyway. So yeah, I like shorts for pound CAD. It's a similar idea to Euro CAD as well. If Euro CAD's going to fall, pound CAD's probably going to fall with it as well. But I would like price to be a little higher up. In terms of the indices, so I'm very bullish on the indices. Quite a lot of them, US indices, UK 100, Japanese index, the DAX. I do think all of these indices are going to be pushing to the upside, back to their price swing highs, and probably further as well. Speaking on the S&P, I would expect price to go and take out this high here. That's what I'm expecting us to move towards. It's being a little bit tricky right now because it looks like we're just ranging really with the S&P. So in terms of finding a solid buy opportunity, I would struggle in these conditions unless we're to push back to the lower end of things. But I am expecting price to break to the upside and go and take up the high here at 56.60 and see some new highs. I've spoken about the weekly chart, really aggressive wick to the downside, solid candle closure a couple of weeks ago. So I do expect momentum just to take us to new highs. NAS, similar boat as well, really nice wick to the downside. To me, that looks like price is just printing in its next higher low. So again, if that is going to be the next higher low, then you're expecting price to at least push back to the high, and in most cases see a new higher high as well. So now that we have kind of tested this area here for NAS, I'm looking at this as a nice pullback. Let me clone that. So a nice pullback there, testing that area. I'm expecting price to now shoot to the upside. Again, with this one, if you're looking for some ideas for some trades, I feel like a push back to the low would be good. Nice double bottom, or if you do start breaking structure, maybe some retest after that could look good as well. But either which way, I do feel like we're going to break to the upside. And then for US 30, this one's a bit awkward now since we're already trading at the high. So I would be careful of that area there. I feel like if you can get a solid break of this, then maybe that can open up some buys on the retest somewhere and look for the next higher low, something like that. But I'm not the biggest fan of US 30 right now because we're trading at the all-time high, at the swing high, and we're kind of just messing around with it. At one point, it looks like we're breaking above it. Now it looks like we're breaking below it. Now it's like we're trying to do a retest of some degree, so it's not really clear US 30 whether we're actually breaking or not breaking above it. But with S&P, I know there's a good chance we can get there anyway. So buys look good, at least at the low of the range. And then NAS, I do expect us to push on back to the high there eventually. So now it's just about finding opportunities in that direction. So yeah, very bullish on the indices for now. I've touched on the UK 100 as well. That one looks like it's about to continue higher. In fact, it's almost at the high right now, but if you can find some opportunities to buy, it's been a bit awkward to trade, but I do think we'll keep pushing up high. The DAX, that looks like it's going to keep pushing higher as well. In fact, it's already taken out the high, so yeah, that's been said and done. And the Japanese index, I'm expecting that to continue higher too, back to 41K. So yeah, indices, I think we've got more to come. Okay, I'll go and touch on Euro Pound. I do think Euro Pound will see a lot more downside. I feel like we'll probably will bounce because we're quite stretched and we're coming into major support. So I can understand why you're looking to buy it. I do think the buys do look good. It's just that I do think we probably will continue selling off, and I'll show you why. If I go to Euro Pound on the monthly chart again, kind of keep an eye on the monthly kind of closures this month. And let me just, okay. So you can see here, this is the month of August. Really, really big wick to the upside here. And all we've done is just kind of taken out some of these highs and just most likely close bearish. Still got 10 hours left, but most likely we're probably going to close bearish. So to me, it looks like price is kind of just fake to the upside this month for August for Euro Pound. And now probably going to see price just going to continue selling off. So I'm expecting us to push back into this level of support here. We've got all these wicks on the monthly chart. So I do think we'll continue selling off back to 0.83. So although, yes, we are coming back into some support, which is, go to the daily chart, this low here, and looking to buy makes a lot of sense because last time we were here, crazy move to the upside. Now there again, could see another big move up. But I do expect us to continue selling off to the downside. So if we do push up, great. I don't think it will last forever. But I do think the bigger move will eventually break the floor and see a push in 0.83. So I think we'll see how price reacts here, but that can end up being a nice location for a short. And then, yeah, expecting price to keep selling off. But in the meantime, I can get your idea there. Massive move up. We're back there again. The market's quite stretched as well. So we're likely to pop to the upside at some point. And, what better place to see that upside than back at this low here. So the buys make sense, but I just expect us to continue selling off and push to 0.83. So I'm with you with the buys. Around 0.839, which I think is where you said, 0.839. Expecting a rebound and a target 0.8424. 8424. Okay, that's around here somewhere. Yeah, 24. Okay, so yeah, I'm on board with that as well. Nothing crazy. I just thought you'd have a bigger target because of the level of trading from. But yeah, I feel like your target's very reasonable. You're not expecting anything too much from that move, and I don't think we will anyway because I'm expecting more downside. So yeah, I like the buys for the short term, but long term I see Euro Pound still falling. But yeah, I like your idea. You're not looking for anything too crazy. But even if you did have a big target, as long as you're managing your trade appropriately, it doesn't really matter because there will be people looking for big risk reward targets, which makes sense because you're looking for the big trades to play out, and you realize there will be far in between. But once they do play out, then the risk reward makes up for it. But you, at the same time, you don't want to be one trick pony. You don't want to just aim for 1 to 10 every time because you could probably go months without actually hitting the target. So you want to be either taking partials or trading stop loss just to kind of add another degree or another dynamic to your trading, so you can get paid in another way. UK 100. Yeah, I have noticed that the price action is a little bit sideways with UK 100, especially compared to the US indices, which kind of trade a little bit better. But yeah, you can see the price action here. Although there is some degree an uptrend there, which I do like, but it's not a clean one. Even FX, when it's moving in a trending manner, it moves a lot cleaner than this, because it's just up, down, and then randomly it says, okay, I'm now going to continue a little bit further, and up, down, up, down, up, down. Then yeah, I'm going to continue a little bit further, up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's I feel like you can develop a nice strategy for this. I feel like if you're trading a lot of pullbacks, you might suffer in a market condition like this, because it's just kind of fluctuating a lot. But if you trade mean reversion, you might find a bit of success with this because of how it moves. But yeah, it's not the cleanest pair. Cleaner market in the world. I think US 30 trades a lot cleaner. Has its moments when it's a bit choppy, but at least it's got a degree of a trend to it. Need tech companies to make a good index. Boring comes like Tesco and Royal Mail. Yeah, I think, of course, with Tesco and like Royal Mail, they'll play it safe. They're not going to be doing any expansive, um, moves business wise. Tesco is going to be a very consistent, slowly growing business. It's already huge, so doesn't need to anyway. But yeah, tech companies is where you can get like a quick boom if things really go well. But Tesco is just going to be your standard big company that's going to stand for the test of time, or at least do a good attempt at doing so, because everyone needs a good Tesco or a Sainsbury's. But I hear you. I mean, again, I wouldn't look to add UK 100 to my trading list. I'm purely kind of looking at just the US indices. So US 30, S&P. I've looked at the DAX. The DAX looks okay. It doesn't trade that bad. It trades pretty neatly, to be fair. Has its moments where it messes around as well, but the moves I'm seeing are pretty clean, and there's a lot of momentum with it as well. So I wouldn't mind this one, to be honest. I wouldn't mind. Sonny, what is up? Hope you're doing well. Gold 4 hour, 5 push to the upside. What does this price action mean? How to see this, sir? Which time frame are you talking about? Are you talking about the daily chart, as in we've had these kind of moves to the upside, or are you talking about another chart? You're talking about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could maybe what you're talking about. Again, not every price action has to have a significant meaning to it. Again, when you're dealing a lot of technical analysis, you're not looking to decipher what the market is doing. Technical analysis is to find direction, and then 2, to find an entry idea, or not entry idea, but a trading opportunity. And a trading opportunity isn't something where you can understand exactly what the market is doing and what's going to do next. A trading opportunity is where, okay, when this and this happens, there's a greater chance the market will move up than move down. That's all you really need to know as a trader. So wherever that pattern is, wherever that confluence is, wherever that pattern is you're looking for, whenever it arises, you know exactly what you're doing, because you understand, okay, when this and this happens, there's a good chance we'll push up higher to this degree. Therefore, I can find an entry here, I can put a stop loss here and put a target there. And if I take that 100 times, I walk away with a profit. Everything in between It's kind of just noise. So if the market does this, you don't necessarily have to understand what it's doing. If it's not in line with your plan, not in line with the pattern that you trade, you don't have to be at the markets 24 hours a day understanding what the market is doing. So the point I'm trying to say is, if you've got a pattern, if you've got a trade set up, if you've got a plan of how you want to trade, just wait for that plan to arise, and wait for your boxes to be met and your confidence to be met, and take your trades. Everything else probably isn't worthwhile. Sure, you want to learn and expand your knowledge and maybe improve your edge, improve your strategy. Of course, I understand that, but if you don't have one at the moment, then that should be your focus, just creating one and just being streamlined and being focused on whatever that is. But to me, in terms of my analysis with gold, really is that, okay, the market's kind of consolidating right now, really. There's not much more to it than that. The market is really struggling at this high. If it was to break through, then we've got a really nice opportunity on the retest above it. Because we keep coming and we keep respecting it, it means that there's a lot of focus at this level. Sellers have been so strong at this level. So if the level does go and break, that instantly becomes support, and that will definitely become an area which I'll be interested to buy from. Even if we were to push down, I still do like this level here at 2480, and then that will be my opportunity for a buy as well. This is what I was speaking on last week when I missed this trade here. But that's still a nice little level there, so my focus is still there as well, just in case we don't see the breakout. But either which way for gold, I'm only looking for buys. High time frames are still giving me higher highs and higher lows. I'm still seeing a pretty clean trend in the higher time frames, although we are a bit more corrective now for gold. It's not as clean as it has been in the past, but in terms of direction, we're still seeing clarity. So yeah, gold expecting upside. If you can get a solid break of 25.30, 25.29, I'll be looking for entry to take it higher. We've got the psychological levels, 25.50, and then we've got 2600. Those are the areas I'll keep an eye on, because again, we're at all-time highs. Can't look to the left and use market structure to our benefit, because there's just nothing there. So we'll kind of left to these psych levels. So 2050 in the next big area, then 2600 after that. But yeah, the ideas remain the same. And in the low time frames, you can see the rejection in a bit more detail. So yeah, not interested in shorting gold. I know some people will be, and it makes sense because we're rejecting the high, but I'm only interested in the buys for now, unless something changes drastically, and I'll see how far I can take it. DAX is decent. Ben, do you trade the DAX? My stomach is rumbling there. So yeah, I mean, I do. US 30 to me is the indice which I'm focusing on at the moment to add to my watch list. If it goes well, then I'll be looking at S&P and maybe NAS as well. And if that goes well, then I'll probably look at the DAX. But I'm taking it slow and steady because most of my trading has always been on FX. Past couple of years, probably about 3 years now, maybe a bit longer actually, I've added gold and silver to my trading. But yeah, it's about time that I look to add some indices and see how that goes. And maybe one day I add oil. But for now, I've got a lot of pairs on my list, so I'm not eager to trade everything and anything. Again, the reason why I do trade a wide range of pairs anyway is just to make sure that I've always got something to look for in terms of finding a good opportunity. Because as a swing trader, if you're only trading one pair, you might find one trade every 2 or 3 months. And when I mean one trade, I mean one good trade, a trade worth taking. Every 2 or 3 months, and it depends. Some people might even be longer as well, maybe every 6 months. So the more pairs you can look at, the more options you have and the more patient you can be in terms of waiting for a good trade. Because there might be an okay trade on pound USD. There's a really, really good trade on pound yen, but that might take another few days to develop. So you can just say, okay, I will not take the pound USD, or if I am going to take it, I'm going to reduce my risk. And then when the pound yen does develop, I'll increase my risk or just make sure I take this position, because that's where the quality lies. And having multiple pairs to look at means I can, you know, tiptoe around the not so good opportunities and make sure I take the good ones. And that's purely from a swing perspective. If you're day trading, of course, you might want to keep it to just a few, because you're going to get a lot more price action, a lot more information. And if you're trading 30 pairs, it's going to be difficult to digest all of that in one go. Okay, used to trade the US indices, now I end up looking at too much stuff. If not, okay, euro, pound, gold, silver, S&P, and NASDAQ. Okay, nice little blend there. A bit of Forex, some metals, and you got indices. Okay, so that means you'll probably keep a big eye on the DXY and USD as well, because if those are the pairs that you trade, USD will be a big governing force for euro, pound, gold, silver, S&P, and NAS. Because if dollar is going to be strong, then all those markets will probably be pushing down to a degree, and of course, vice versa. And you start looking at silver, not taking a trade yet, spreads are wide, and it's not as clean as gold, so we'll see. Okay. Yeah, again, with me, because I'm trading in the higher time frames, I'll be looking to take more trades on the 4 hour now, actually. So spreads are not the biggest problem for me. If the spread's a little bit wider, it doesn't hurt me so much as it would do if you're entering on like below hourly chart. Okay, yeah, mark up the DXY as well. Yeah, the DXY would be a big part of your trading then, and it's a big part of mine as well. I do keep a look at the DXY a lot. I will be very focused to see how the DXY will close this week, this month, because it'll be very, very interesting. Like I said, the yen pairs a lot of wicks here to the downside. That kind of means that we'll see a bit of a push to the upside at the start of next month. Again, I'm not necessarily saying next month will be bullish in terms of a bullish candle, but at least I do expect to see a wick higher. Euro USD, be interesting to see how this one closes as well. Let me delete it. Again, do we close inside the resistance here for all these wicks, or do we push up a little bit and give us a bit more of a confident close? We'll see by the end of the day. Like I said, we do got some USD news later this afternoon that might move the market a bit. We shall see. But at the moment, you can see all these prior monthly candles, a lot of wicks here. We've struggled to break through these areas. Are we going to see that again? Possibly. Pound, it was a solid close. I mean, it's going to be a solid close. So I do think more upside is likely. Dollar CAD, solid close to the downside. I feel like we'll keep falling. New Zealand dollar, strong close there. That will probably keep pushing us higher. Probably back into this area here eventually. Dollar CHF, pretty bearish close there. Aussie dollar, pretty strong close. Gold, that's closing strong as well to the upside. Silver, I like the wicks to the downside there, so I do think we'll push up higher. Euro CAD, big wick to the upside there. Aussie CAD, pound CAD, New Zealand CAD. There's some interesting candle closures. Some candle closures are not very interesting. Again, not every candle close has to be crazy significant. Okay, mark the XY, and if I'm bullish, I'm looking for EUG to see which is weakest. Okay. Other than that bothered, I'm long gold, short G at the same time, for example. Okay. Well, yeah, because gold's not always going to be positively correlated to the dollar, to the DXY, and to the dollar anyway. Because of course, in the DXY basket, gold is not even included there anyway. So USD can be strong and gold can be strong at the same time. And sometimes they're actually inversely correlated. depends on fundamentals and the current climate. Current climate we're in, but very much, you can see during COVID, during peak Russia Ukraine, USD was flying up, and so was gold as well. So there will be times where gold is strong and USD is strong, and there will be times where USD is strong and gold is weak. But at the moment, I would expect gold to keep pushing up higher. I think GU and Euro will keep pushing up higher as well, but maybe those will kind of retrace at some point. And I'm hoping pretty soon as well. Yeah, indices and metals kind of diverge from DXY, as you mentioned, especially in the lower time frames. Yeah, that's very true as well. Lower time frames will fluctuate in and out. From a swing perspective, you kind of get the more truer bias of everything. But when you go down to like hourly and below, then you will get, more fluctuation, and more kind of, more fluctuation really, which means you can take advantage of opportunities in either direction. Because of course you're not looking to hold for the long run. Yeah, that's true as well. That's true. Actually, we're gonna actually take a look. So I've got the quarterly time frame up here. So this would be 2024, the start of the year. So it was pretty bullish there from Jan till March. And then if you go to gold, of course, we all know gold broke really aggressively higher. Again, Jan to March, this one as well. So yeah, very bullish as well. So spot on there from Ben. Big push to the upside, minimal wick there as well. So you can see that USD was really strong, and so is gold. So yeah, there will be times where that correlation does flip back and forth with gold and the indices. But of course, FX pairs will be more aligned. When dollar is weak, you mostly will see pound USD push up and Euro USD push up, and vice versa. And that's the thing with correlation. It's not always 100%. It comes and goes. Sometimes correlation is, very much a sync, and sometimes you're like, what's going on? And normally fundamentals have a big reason to play in that. All right, have a good one, Philip. We'll see you next week, my man. So yeah, guys, as we have approached the end of the stream, like I said, I haven't said anything yet. I don't know why I said like I said. So yeah, we'll be live again next week, of course, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as always. If you guys are enjoying the streams, feel free to tag along. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every weekday next week, as always. So if you're free, make sure you tag along and tune in. If you have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell. All of that helps out the channel, and of course keeps you in the loop of things so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Discord for Elevating Traders. If you haven't done so already, it is at the top of the chat. You cannot miss it. This kind of opportunities will be available there. Thank you to everyone coming onto the stream. Really do appreciate you spending some time with me. And of course, if you have enjoyed it, drop a like on your way out. And thank you to my moderators for helping out as well. But guys, have a great day, great weekend. Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you all in the next week.